Hello everyone, this is Science Professor Obene, and today our objective is to discuss energy and examine the factors that affect potential energy. And by the end of the lesson, we should know that energy is the ability to cause things to change or to move. It's also the ability to do work. And we should also know that the sun is a major source of energy on Earth. There are two main forms of energy: kinetic energy and potential energy. And today we'll be focusing on potential energy and the factors that affect potential energy. All right. So if we say a person has energy, what does that mean? Remember, energy is the ability to cause things to change or to move. All right. When we say a person has energy, energy is the ability to do work. And what shows you have energy? So if you have energy, that means you have the ability to cause things to change or to move. All right, so here we go. We are looking at Serena Williams. And she has energy. And we say she has energy. What does that mean? Without energy, would she be able to serve the tennis ball? That's the question. She needs energy to cause the ball to move. Okay, so the discussion question is, explain why Serena Williams needs energy to serve the tennis ball. All right, she needs energy to serve the tennis ball because she wants to cause the tennis ball to move. All right, to cause it to change its location, its position. All right, and here also we see LeBron James. All right, he needs energy to shoot the free throw. And the discussion question is, explain why LeBron needs energy for the free throw. Without energy, can he make the free throw? Without energy, he cannot even move the ball. He cannot cause the ball to move. All right, so he needs energy to move the ball so that he can shoot the free throw. All right, so when we talk about energy, energy is the ability to cause things to move or to change. It's also the ability to do it. If we look at this weightlifter, without energy, he will not be able to lift the weight. He will not be able to cause the weight to move. In the same way, Serena Williams, without energy, she will not be able to cause the ball to move. So she needs to apply energy. All right, the same way LeBron James needs energy to make the free throw. Without energy, the ball will continue to stay in his hands. It will not move. All right, so energy is the ability to cause things to change or to move. And on Earth here, the sun is a major source of energy. And energy from the sun is described as inexhaustible. And that's a new vocabulary word we are learning. Inexhaustible means it's unlimited, cannot be used all because it's in abundance. And that's the energy from the sun. We receive energy from the sun every day, almost every day. All right? And that energy is considered inexhaustible because we have it so much in abundance and we cannot use it all at the same time. All right, so let's continue. Class discussion, explain why Serena Williams needs energy to serve the tennis ball. And we talked about it that she needs energy to serve the tennis ball because she wants the tennis ball to move. And remember, energy is the ability to cause things to change or to move. So she needs that energy to cause the tennis ball to move. And by so doing, we are saying that the rocket does work on the ball, and the ball also does work on the net. And that's what brings about the ball changing position and moving in a certain direction that she wants the ball to go. All right, energy can exist as kinetic or potential energy. So there are two main forms of energy: kinetic or potential energy. All right, and our focus today is about potential energy. We are looking at the factors that affect potential energy. And when we talk about potential energy is stored energy due to relative position, height, or elevation. So potential energy is stored energy. For example, the energy inside food is potential energy. we calculate potential energy using the formula potential energy is equal to mgh. The m is the mass, h is the height or relative position, g is the acceleration due to gravity. And acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second on the surface of the earth. All right, so this shows that if you increase the mass, the potential energy will increase. Later on, we'll look into this. All right, so this is potential energy. At this point, the car has a potential energy. It has the ability to cause change as it moves down. All right. The bow and arrow also has potential energy. If you stretch the bow, it will have the potential to cause the arrow to move. So the more you stretch it, the more distance, the more relative position you stretch the bow, the more potential energy it will have. And also food. Food contains stored energy, and that stored energy is potential energy. All right, if you eat food, it will give you energy. All right, because there are chemical bonds inside the food. All right, that will release the energy for you to be able to use to run, to make a free throw, and so many physical activities. All right, the spring also contains potential energy. Then we also have the energy inside the nucleus of an atom. Nuclear energy is potential energy. It's stored energy, all right? And it has the potential to cause a change. Candle wax also has potential energy. And if you lift a box higher, it will have potential energy. That means that if you drop it, it will have the ability, the potential to cause a change, okay? So these are the factors that affect potential energy. Mass, and the greater the mass, the greater the potential energy. Relative position or height. The higher the object, the greater the potential energy. So let's look at some examples. What kind of energy does the bow have? We talked about this. The bow has potential energy because as you stretch it, it will have the potential to move the arrow. Okay? So the bow has potential because work has to be done to change the shape or its position. And that, by virtue of the shape or its position or the relative height, it will have the ability to cause the arrow to move. All right. Here also, let's take a look at other examples of potential energy, factors that affect potential energy. We have ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. Which one will have the potential, greater potential energy? That means that if you drop these 3 balls and they fall on your hands, which one will cause greater change, greater damage? All right. And we can see that ball 1 will have the greater potential energy because it's at a higher height or elevation. Okay. So which of the balls will have the greatest potential energy and why? The ball on the left, ball 1, will have the greatest potential energy because it's at a higher height. Okay? Because the higher an object, the greater the potential energy. Now let's look at some other real life examples. This is Mr. Big weighing 350 pounds. Okay? Then we have also Lady Newton who comes in 110 pounds. All right? And they are all running at the same speed, 10 meters per second, 10 meters per second. The only difference is that Mr. Big has more weight. Lady Newton has less weight. All right? And we know that potential energy is affected by mass. There is a relationship between mass and weight. They are not exactly the same. All right? Weight is a force due to gravity. All right, weight is affected by mass. When we talk about mass, mass is the quantity of matter in an object. All right, so the greater the mass, the greater the weight. All right, so if you look at Mr. Big has more mass than Lady Newton based on the weight. All right, so more mass means that Mr. Big has more stuff inside of him than Lady Newton. And we know that the greater the mass, the greater the potential energy, because potential energy is equal to mgh. So who do you think has a greater mass? Mr. Big has a greater mass because Mr. Big has more stuff inside of him than Lady Newton. Okay? He has more body cells inside of him. Okay? More body fat also inside of him. All right? And the question is, who will have the greater potential energy and why? Mr. Big will have the greater potential energy than Lady Newton. Okay? Because he has more mass and they are all running at the same speed. Okay? Potential energy is equal to mgh. All right? So if Mr. Big bumps into you and Lady Newton also bumps into you, who will cause the greatest damage? Who will cause the greatest change? It's obviously Mr. Big because he has more mass, and that means that he has more potential energy. Okay? So for work time activity, this is what you should know by now. Energy, the sun as a major source of energy, two main sources of energy, and also the factors that affect potential energy. So for work time activity, you are going to get into your groups and you are going to discuss everything that you've learned here. When you finish, you are going to use a flashcards to review the check-in for understanding. All right, so let's get into our groups, and this has been Science Professor Obene, and thank you for watching and take care.